Hello, everybody. My name is Ben Carpenter, and welcome to the Thanksgiving edition of Gridiron History. All right, most people don't realize it, but it was in 1863 that Abraham Lincoln declared Thanksgiving a national holiday in the United States. I think we're the only ones who have Thanksgiving in their country. Anyway, it was 13 years later in 1876 when Yale and Princeton decided they were going to have a football game. And back then it was still more of a rugby type game. But people around the area said, this is ridiculous. Nobody is going to show up to watch a football game on Thanksgiving Day. I mean, we've been working all week. We want to spend some time with our families. It's a little chilly outside. But guess what? A whole bunch of people showed up for that game, and they've been showing up for Thanksgiving games ever since that day. In fact, shortly after that Princeton-Yale game, Michigan and Chicago started a series that lasted for a number of years. And by the 1890s, there were many, many schools playing games on Thanksgiving Day. In fact, in high school, in Boston, in Massachusetts, the Boston Latin High School plays the English High School of Boston a game of football on Thanksgiving Day. They've been playing it every year since 1887. That's incredible. Now, let's fast forward to the 1920s and the NFL. The NFL started in 1920. And the Detroit Lions were one of those initial teams. They had an owner by the name of George Richards. And George came up with an idea that maybe he could get some publicity for his Detroit Lions if they played on Thanksgiving Day. You see, the Lions were kind of being overshadowed by a baseball team called the Detroit Tigers. So George Richards started selling tickets for this game, and they were sold out 2 weeks before game time. It was incredible. George also had connections with other radio stations since he owned a radio station. And for that game in 1920, that Thanksgiving Day between the Lions and the Bears was broadcast nationwide by 94 radio stations. Now, the Bears went on to win that game, but the idea became a tradition. The idea stuck. And Thanksgiving games in the NFL were here to stay. Now, in 1966, the Dallas Cowboys and their general manager, Tex Schramm, they kind of came up with the same idea and said, you know what, we want to play also every Thanksgiving. So the Cowboys have been playing every year since 1966. That is why every Thanksgiving you see the Lions, and in another game you see the Cowboys. They're locked in. The NFL a little while after that said we need to add a third game. So now you get a couple of varied teams that don't always play every Thanksgiving. But guaranteed the Lions and the Cowboys are going to be on Thanksgiving Day. Now, Thanksgiving Day games were not played in one era. That was World War II. Thanksgiving football games were not played in the NFL in 1941 through 1944 because of the war. And then there was a time, a 2-year period that we can call Franksgiving, when Franklin Roosevelt, the President of the United States, decided to change the dates for Thanksgiving. He wanted to do it for economic reasons, but move the date of Thanksgiving. Half of the states said, okay, we'll do it. The other half of the states said, no, we're not changing it. So in 1939 and 1940, there was only one game played. And it was the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Philadelphia Eagles. Both teams were about to merge because of the war efforts and taking players off of their teams. But those two teams are the ones who played because they were in the same state. The other states had scheduling issues because Thanksgiving falling on different days. So there you have it, folks. a little bit of history for football and Thanksgiving Day. Hope you all have a great Thanksgiving, and hope you enjoyed this Thanksgiving football lesson. We'll talk to you later and see you on another edition of Gridiron History. Have a good day.